this morning is the power of us. And I've been doing a lot of thinking and just a lot of thinking about the power of us. And I just love the concept because we know as metaphysicians and in this whole philosophy that there is no separation. It just appeared to be that we all are part of that same spiritual family. We all come from that same primordial soup that started in the beginning. So if we all come from it and we're all little strands of it, we all come from the same source, would that not make us all connected? So I want to tell you something that actually happened. This is a true thing a few weeks ago. For the last, I don't know how long, but I used to be a revengeful person, somewhat. So, like for example, today's my birthday, I would keep tabs of who called me, because if they didn't call me, then I might not call them on their birthday. Oh, I'm talking way back when. You know, or how many cards did I get? Or I saw her and she didn't remember. You know, all that stuff. I mean, I had scorecards for everything. Call it judgmental. It was not good. And when I started on this journey, which has been quite a while, one of the things I really decided is we all have it. I want to be a light to the world. I want to shine my light. I want to shine it so I can get yours back, and we just keep on shining. So what I realized, and this was really powerful, if we're one and we have dissension with one person, we feel not better, but worse, because we've done it to ourselves. And when we go out and we bring joy to another person, we have it double, because it's like an infinite loop. You know, it just goes from me to you and back to me, and it goes around and around and around. But I also want to read, before I go any further, I want to read a few quotes that kind of go right along with this. The power of we is greater than the power of me. And that's an unknown person, but they were good. And then, when spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. That's an Ethiopian proverb. Isn't that cool? Yeah. When spider webs unite, they can tie up a lion. And then, individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean. And that's by Ryonosuke Satoru. And we always talk about that in New Thought, about that we're all a drop of the same ocean. So the other thing I was trying to explain I was talking to one of my sons, and you know, we all have two parts of ourselves. I mean, not necessarily apparent, but we can call it the ego and the higher self. We can call it our inner child and our adult. We can call it whatever we want. So I wanted to make it really graphic. So my thing was, do you really want to listen to this? Or would you rather listen to this? Because all the time we have voices going on in our head, not just for people who are not okay. We all have them, right? And the voice that says to you, oh, you really didn't do a good job there. You should have, you could have, you whatever should have, and on and on and on. Or this person is really bad. I was so proud of one of my sons. He's been working on a lot of self-growth, and he came home the other day, and he goes to this exercise place called Spangra. And he goes, Mom, you know what I realized about myself? He said, when I go places, I judge people. Like I'm watching these people doing push-ups on their on their knees rather than doing real push-ups. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with them? Why can't they do push-ups? And then all of a sudden it clicked. I'm really judgmental. And that really messes me up. And I said, wow, that's wonderful. He goes, well, what's wonderful about being judgmental? I said, nothing's wonderful about being judgmental. What's wonderful is that you recognized it, because we can't change a thing until we become aware of the fact that we're doing it. And
Amen.
I really think we do it because our little ego's going, hey, tell her she could sing better if she tried, because then it won't make me feel so bad that I can't sing at all. You know, that's what we do. And sometimes you might do something really wonderful, and there might be a singer that's not quite as good as you, that maybe wants to say something not complimentary to make themselves feel better. You see it all the time in the classroom. You know, or when a kid comes up and says, so-and-so did such and such, especially the girls, they love to tattle. The boys just hit, but the girls tattle. But true, isn't it? They do. So, if you've ever taught in an elementary school, junior high and high school are worse, but anyway, that's how we operate. It's our operating system. Until we can tap into that higher self. So I had a situation happen last week, and I was not happy about something. And I called the board president from where I speak every week, and I said, okay, I'm really going to complain today. And I'm letting you know right now my ego is having a tantrum. Because I knew exactly where it was coming from. I said, my ego is severely bruised, and I want to work through it. Because my higher self knows, when Polly just said about moving, you know, or you did, about going to the higher place, that when you were on this convention or whatever, about really, we know what it's like to be in that higher place, where it doesn't matter what you say about me. What you think of me is none of my business, except for when this little guy kicks in and starts telling me it is. You don't need to take that. This isn't fair. You know, these people shouldn't be doing this, you know, and on and on. And it's like I go, oh my gosh. You know, I can see it so clearly, but it doesn't always mean that I still don't fall into the trap. So we start thinking about the power of us. So, since we have such wonderful musicians today, let's think about a choir. And like, I would be the perfect person to never be in a choir, because I can't sing on tune. So if I would be in a choir, I used to have this teacher that would yell at me all the time, sing on tune, and I go, well, I could if I would if I could. I can't, you know? And so my voice would stand out, but unfortunately, not in a really good way. Set everything off balance, because music is built on harmony and being able to, the funny thing is, I can't sing on tune, but I can sure tell when someone else can't, which is really strange, or when a note is off, I can tell it right away when somebody's playing the piano or something, but I can't get that through. So I know that, and I know that my presence in, like, even when we sing and when we video it, if we're singing, I always put the mic down because it's so distracting. So, think about us as people. Think about this center. Think about any spiritual center, any school, any whatever. So the group gets together. You have faculty meetings, you know, at work. You have project managers. You have meetings. You have them everywhere we are. People getting together. So think about this. When they get together, if you get together with people, and you have your agenda, and you have your agenda, and you have your agenda, and I have my agenda, and you have your agenda, it will be a mess. Because we're coming with a preconceived notion of how it should be, and if you have an agenda, in my own opinion, it's just my opinion, what you are saying is I have the right answer. When we come together as a group, which we are all the time because we are part of humanity, and that's what's wrong right now, that's why we're suffering. For example, We only think of our own agenda. So I'm in Maryland Heights right now, right? And they have a representative, a Missouri rep. We live in Baldwin. We have a rep. The rep in Baldwin could care less about what's going on in Maryland Heights, right? I mean, they don't care. Or in Florissant or Clayton or whatever. Then let's take our senators, United States senators. They all go to Congress, and Missouri wants what it wants, and California wants what it wants, and Illinois wants what it wants, and they even negotiate and bargain on how they're going to vote by what they get for their own state, right? We know that's how our government works. And then we get governments that go, well, we've got to think about what's good for our country. And the other country says, we have to think about what's good for our country. And so what do we have? We have a world that's in chaos because we're all operating from our own agenda. Now just imagine for a moment that you have a meeting, a faculty meeting, and somebody starts it and goes, look, we're here to support this school or this center or this business or this family. Think about all the friction in families because everyone has their own agenda. People that love each other, they can't get along. We hear it all the time. So when that happens, he's at it again. Because it's our ego that says, my agenda is right. And what I have started to recognize that if we want peace in the world, it starts right here in our own environment. It starts right here in our own family, right here in our own community, in our own school, in our own space. And that when we say something that hurts another's ego, because not everyone gets it, we have to remember that all of us function at the level of our own consciousness. And I know for myself that changes all the time. My beliefs about God change all the time. Because as we expand, we get different thoughts. And so I'm thinking, wow, we have each been given the light of God. That presence is within each of us. And how we cheat ourselves and the world to not listen to that rather than that ugly little guy that's telling us, you gotta be right. You know, you tell him your idea, yours is the best one. You always have the best idea. These people aren't listening to you, go somewhere else. Or let them have it, that's another one. Let them have it. You have a board meeting, you have a whatever meeting, and someone blows up at another person and stomps out. How does that make everyone in that room feel? So we were at a workshop the other night. It was just wonderful. This woman is a nurse, not a nurse, she's a physician's assistant, but really a scientist. And she did this whole thing on the pyramid of energy and all the different emotions that give you the different levels of energy. And she was talking about how important it is that when you're at that higher level of energy and you are working with someone who's either very depressed or very angry, or very whatever, you have really, it's really important to hold your energy up high. Not just for your own self, but the energy fields, our energy fields right now, they're all touching each other, even though you're sitting far away from people. You know, you still have these fields. We have it all around. We have an energy in this room. People come back here because they feel good energy. And then if there's a lot of dissension, they go, well, you know what? There's something funny about that place. How many of you have ever walked into a place and you just go, you know, I'm not comfortable here. I feel, and I can't explain it, I just go, like that, you know, and probably I'm shaking it off. So I would really like for you to think about this. Just imagine the power if we all work together for the good of the all. If Baldwin cared about New York, if we wanted schools as good as we have in some areas around this area, if we wanted schools like that in Mississippi, if we wanted them in Africa, if you know, there is a saying, if one person suffers, then all people suffer. And so I like to think of it like a huge jigsaw puzzle. Oh, I've got a great example. Anybody ever buy anything from IKEA? Well, do you ever put it together where one screw or bolt is not missing, right? And you can't put the piece together because you're missing that bolt, like a puzzle. And that's what we are. We're all part of the IKEA furniture. We need all of our little pieces to fit together, to make it whole. And if there's one tiny screw missing, you have to go all the way back and say, you know what, I'm missing this screw, and bring your instructions that are like, what really tickles me is if you go there, you know, they do kitchens. I thought, oh my God, to do an IKEA kitchen, I think it would take 3 lifetimes. You'd have to be reincarnated 4 times, wouldn't you, with all those pieces? So let's just think about the power that we are. The light that we can give others by your smile, by a wave, nodding your head, keeping your mouth shut when someone says something that you really want to respond to in a not very kind way. Right? We all have it. And just think about how we can change the energy in our own environment just by doing that. So I just want to go back and read a little that I didn't. I wrote this, The Power of Us. Our world is a challenge. We have so much diversity, different religions, ideas, political parties, sizes, shapes, colors, beliefs. Personally, I think this is really cool and should not be a challenge. I see it as an opportunity with so many different ideas. Think of how many solutions there are. How many issues could we solve with all these different ideas? Or can we? Sometimes when groups get together, there is a power play. I have the answer. The right one, that is. I have an agenda when I attend the group meeting. As I have this idea, so does everyone else there. When we operate as individuals out for our own individual issue, we forget our purpose. And when we forget to work for the good of the all, the opportunity for solution is gone. And that is so sad. Together we are able to accomplish so many things. Alone, not so much. The power of us. And I would like to read the poem I wrote on this topic. The power of us. So much diversity, colors galore, so many languages. Yet the core of each of us is so much the same, really irrelevant from where we came. When we are separate, we are truly weak. We have no power when we speak alone, no power when we isolate, detached, lonely. While we wait for something to change, to feel connected to something larger. Am I expected to do this alone, this life? Walk it alone, no one to talk to bond with, to be with? No one with me when I see the truth of who I am? No one to hold me when I cry? Show me that is what you meant for us. This surely could not be why you sent us to earth. I rebel, I know. Now I will tell you why we are here to bond together, to cheer each other on, to make a chain that is unbreakable. No pain is too great when we have each other. Knowing each is a sister or brother. The power, the strength when we stand tall, the power of us, the power of all. Together a problem becomes a solution. Together there is always resolution. The power of us feels so right. The power of us makes the world bright.